Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamerspro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. This is a show I am going to deeply enjoy talking about. What are we discussing today? I've been one of those people, and I think a lot of the people that follow our content are in the same group where we believe that today's players are not the greatest we've ever seen. They're not the most athletic we've ever seen. They're not the most talented we've ever seen. But whenever we listen to people talking about the modern NBA, these are the talking points that we always get. Players today are faster, stronger, smarter, more skilled, more talented, blah, 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 blah. And some of us are like, but we don't believe you. And there's no evidence you guys have been able to put forth for us to be like, you know what, you're right. You're right. They've not provided any conclusive data. Like, for example, if players are more athletic today, by what measurement? What's the metric we're using? Are we saying that they can jump higher? Are we saying that they're faster? There's been no such data provided. What we know is that players have been athletic for pretty much since the NBA has been around. You can literally go back generations and find freak athletes from generation to generation to generation. You can look at Will Chamberlain. You can look at Dr. J. You can look at Sean Kemp. You can look at Michael Jordan. You can look at Spud Webb. Then you can move a little bit forward. You can look at Vince Carter. You can look at Nate Robinson. You could look at Kobe Bryant. You could look at LeBron James. You could look at Derrick Rose. You could look at Russell Westbrook. You could look at Blake Griffin. Jason Richardson. You come into the modern day. You could look at John Morant. You can look at all of these athletes, all of these freak Anthony Edwards. So there's been athletic players since the game started, skilled players since the game started, fast players since the game started. But people want to make this era the greatest ever because, hey, it's better to twerk it up today. You twerk it up today, you endear yourself with more NBA fans, and they can support you, and you can grow your platform and make a buku money, right? And you've been seeing a lot of that. But some of us have been saying today players are frail, they're soft, and they're always breaking down. And if these are the most advanced players we've ever seen, how come they just can't stay healthy? So they evolved all the way to the point where they're not even reliable anymore. Does that make any sense? Who evolves and gets less reliable over time? By now, all of these guys should be Iron Men, but they're not. Which leads me to a show that I stumbled upon yesterday on Gil's Arena. An absolutely fantastic segment. They were reacting to the players in the NBA today that are dropping like flies. And in specific, they were talking about players like Joel Embiid and others. And Kenyon Martin was on the panel. And Kenyon Martin brought up a point, and he said what so many of us already know. And he finally said it, and he also said, we can all pretend like we don't know what it is, but we all know what it is. And he said what all of us have been thinking, which is players today are simply inferior. So what we want to do now is want to play exactly what Kenyon Martin had to say on Gil's Arena yesterday, and then we're going to come back and really get into the show. Take a listen to what these guys had to say there yesterday.
We talked about it yesterday.
It wasn't in
before the show, right?
The season or anything like that.
I'm telling you, it's a direct correlation, man. You know it.
Mm-hmm.
You know it. 2 days, man. I know people don't want to hear it. I know it's this new generation of basketball. Okay, cool. You're paying these dudes a lot of money, great. But if they're not available, dude, them people, listen, man. By that fifth practice of 2 days, that's the third day.
Third day.
The third day is by your fifth practice. Everybody is walking in that motherfucker.
Yeah. Yep.
No, don't want to wear shoes. Man, you walking in that motherfucker like, man, where is the hot, cold foot bath, the tub?
And those whip massages and those whip.
Hey, you looking for anything that's not gonna hurt in that moment by your fifth practice. These dudes only doing 5 practices, man. For training camp.
For training camp.
A week. They're not, man, come on, man. If you're not walking in there gingerly, They think because they work out all summer that they ready for training camp and they ready to go play 82 games or they ready for NBA season. Dude, they used to kick our ass in training camp.
While we training, 2-3 times, we running the sand dunes and running the beach and playing 5-on-5, 8-9 hours.
Dude.
2%, 3% body fat. We done lost 30, 40 pounds going to training camp.
And
fit practice, we all sitting like, damn, I thought I was in shape. No.
In the city a month before, revving up, getting ready for training camp, right? We're in the city a month before getting ready for
September 1.
So to me, it was right after Labor Day, right? Okay. I went to wherever I was playing right after Labor Day, I'm there, right?
Important holiday to celebrate.
Right? But I'm just spending with my family. That's my last.
Yeah.
We're going to cook and do all and I'm going to leave the next day.
Mm-hmm.
All festivities stop. I stopped smoking, drinking. Mm-hmm. Labor Day is my last day, and I stopped cold turkey, and I'm getting ready for the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go wherever I'm playing. Most of the time, it was in Denver, so altitude is playing a factor.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking I'm ready, and training camp still.
Yeah.
Dog. These dudes getting injuries because they not building up, breaking it down, man. Like,
see the pain that we would feel in training camp. In a controlled environment is gone. Now, instead of training camp and going through all this back and forth, battling, you're just playing games against other competitors who are, you don't know, they moving in real time, making you adjust in real time. You trying to do moves that you ain't been practicing for a while, and you pulling you never pulled before.
Dog. It's just, we've been there, man, and it's, I didn't see a lot of hamstring injuries. I ain't seen a lot of calf strains. If dudes wanted to get out of training camp, they'd say their back was tight.
Back tight.
My back tight.
Probably a little growing sometimes.
But other than that, they used to kick our ass, man, and was unapologetic about it. And dudes was playing a lot.
So you heard what Kenyon Martin had to say. You know what I love about that segment was because there was so much truth in it. So much obvious truth. He's like, we're being told that these guys are great, but they can't even remain healthy. And then what I like is the reason he gave. That players today don't push themselves harder, which goes back to common sense. Who are the most hardened people in this world? Who are the toughest people in this world? Who are the mentally toughest people in this world? The people that have actually gone through things. The people that have actually gone through things are the ones that are the toughest, the most resilient. The people that have had the easiest paths in life, that don't face any challenges, any resistance, any disappointment, they're the ones that really never amount to much or anything of much significance. This is you can see evidence of this in life. So that's why it baffles me where some people are like, man, you want to protect them. It's like, you're protecting them, but you're not even developing the callus. And Paul George had pointed this out before. He said when we used to do 2-a-days and all of that, it made your body stronger. Because, this Kenny Martin said, you're breaking it down and building it up. You're breaking it down and building it up. You're making yourself more durable. But he said now in training camp, they may have 5 practices throughout the training, which is unheard of. And then when they get into the regular season game, they're breaking down all over the place. So the question is, if this is the mode of operation in the NBA today, how can this be the most advanced? How can these players be the most advanced we've ever seen? How? How can it be the case? How can it be the case? And this is an NBA player giving you this insight. That's the first thing. The second thing, we're not just talking about a deterioration from a reliability standpoint. We're also looking at the deterioration from a mental standpoint and how players approach the sport. You just heard Shaq go off on Joel Embiid. He said Joel Embiid will never win a championship because of his attitude and his mindset. The attitude and mindset that Joel Embiid has is the mindset that so many players share. So many players share and bask in that mindset. Some of them are just out here to do the bare minimum. Before, it used to be a badge of honor to actually play all 82 games. Now, if your goal is to play all 82 games, they look at you like, bro, you're dumb. Like, you got to preserve yourself, man. I mean, come on, you got to preserve yourself. You got to really, really preserve yourself. It's like, preserve yourself. I'm being paid to play these games. But who cares? The fans are going to pay anyway because they're dumb. So who cares? You can play 60 games and still get your money. So the attitude that these players have, you can actually see a regression. Go look at the All-Star games. They don't even put forth an iota of effort. Players now are so cool for school that star players don't even participate in the slam dunk contest anymore. And some of us are sitting here saying, what happened to the NBA that we all used to know and love? What happened to it? The fact of the matter is the NBA today is soft as hell. The fact of the matter is players in the past were better. They're better. You want to find out who the real scorers were? Go to the 2000s. Go to the 2000s and see who the best scorers were. The 2000s will reveal who the best scorers were. Because in that era, you actually had to play defense. Surprise, surprise. You actually had to play defense. Where teams are averaging 95 points per game and a player average gets you 30 a night, that's a dominant score. You're getting almost a third of your team's offense. A third. So when Kobe scored 81, it's like Kobe scoring 150 points today. Kobe's 81 in that era, if you translated it to today's game, his 81 would translate to about 120 or 30 points. That's what that 81 would actually translate to. Because if Kobe was playing in that game when they were scoring 81 with today's, Kobe would have scored 120 points in that game. He scored 55 and a half. 55 and a half. Let me see. Let me just see something. Let me see if I can pull it up. Kobe, 81 point game box. Let me see. Final score. That game, the Lakers, 122 to 104. 100. I want y'all to think about this. The Lakers scored 122. Kobe scored 81 of their points. 81. Let me see. Average point per game in the NBA year by year. This year, I think the NBA is averaging. Let me see. How many points per game is the NBA averaging this year? I'm trying to see if I can find it. I'm not seeing it here, but let me see. I can't find it right now, but the NBA should be scoring. I forgot they're scoring about 110, about 112. Okay, good. In the year Kobe played in the NBA in the 2000s, teams were averaging 95 points a game. Today, teams are averaging 15 points a game. So teams are averaging actually 20 more points per game. So if Kobe, man, please. So yesterday was a pretty big day in the NBA. It was I think United Arab Emirates Cup, right? The NBA Emirates Cup. And on the schedule last night, you had teams playing like the Hornets with the Magic. You had some pretty big games between the Boston Celtics and the Atlanta Hawks. You had Detroit versus Miami. You had the Knicks versus Philly. I saw part of that game. You had Phoenix versus Utah. You had who else you had? And of course you had Dallas versus the Golden State Warriors, right? Now going into that game, there was some excitement. The game was actually being carried by TNT. The crew was back inside the NBA. Charles, Ernie, and these guys that were there talking about it. So I didn't really pay much attention to it. So when I woke up this morning, I came across a clip from The Odd Couple featuring Rob Parker. And Rob Parker was pretty pissed off about the NBA Cup because essentially what he was doing was calling it a gimmick, right? He was calling it a gimmick, and he was saying that the NBA needs to do better in terms of picking things or choosing things that they can put in front of their fans to keep them engaged into the sport. And he believes that this is not something serious, because if it was serious and the NBA Cup means something, then, for example, why did last season, after the Lakers won the NBA Cup, with Darvin Ham as a head coach. How did he end up getting fired in that at the end of the season? So he had this back and forth with his partner. I believe his name is Kelvin Washington, and they had their back and forth. So what we want to do is we want to play some of the things that Rob Parker had to say here about his thoughts about the NBA Cup, and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to that there.
And if you're watching NBA basketball, we got the TVs on in the studio, and you can see all the games and the floors for this NBA Cup is what they're calling it, right? The NBA Cup.
Yes.
Rob G, the NBA Cup, is this bogus? Is this the same thing as what did they call it last year? The in-season tournament.
Mid-season tournament, in-season tournament, yeah.
Right. And let me tell you something.
Oh, what you about to tell us, Rob?
This is the biggest fraud going, okay? Please, people, do not buy into this. They need to ask people, players, give them incentives to play. They're making millions of dollars. Can you please play in November and make like it matters? Let me tell you how much this doesn't matter. I got Darvin Ham on line 1, and he won the first ever in-season tournament, and they hung a damn banner at the arena downtown in L.A. What do they call it now?
I think we're sitting at crypto currently.
Crypto, all right? And guess what that got him?
What
that and
Rob?
$275 got him on the New York City subway.
You're fired.
$290, I'm sorry.
I thought it went up.
$290.
Yeah, $290, Knox. Come on, Rob. You ain't been there in a minute.
I mean, really? Like, the floors are different. It's a regular season game. It's no tournament. This is the worst thing. This is your legacy, Adam Silver? It can't get any worse than this. This is awful. You know how you want to make the games more important and make people want to watch them this time of the year? Don't put freaking more than half of the league in the playoffs. Make them actually have to earn it. Make the games matter. Yeah. When you put 16 of the 30 teams in, you've already told us that the regular season means nothing. Come on, man. Stop it. Stop dressing up a pig and telling us that it's cute, because it ain't cute. It's another regular season game with an ugly basketball floor that they put on for this to try to sell this as something that I should care about. It didn't save Darvin Ham. Take that damn banner down. Burn it. Do whatever you have to do, because it doesn't mean jack.
This is simply something fun for the NBA to do to get fans engaged, get players engaged early season, where most of our attention is in what? Football. This starts to get knee-deep into when football matters, and everybody's involved. And they're just saying, hey, let's sprinkle a little something out there to get guys engaged, get the fans watching, and play. And last season, it ended up being fun. Something, Rob, I want you to embrace. Just fun. Nobody was saying it was life-changing. Nobody saying it was the cure to cancer.
They hung a damn burnt banner up. That's not fun. They're trying to sell you like it's something special.
No,
it didn't save Darvin Ham. He won the first in-season tournament. Why not?
Because it's something fun. Soccer does this, football, whatever you want to call it around the world.
I don't care what soccer does.
But this is something they're embracing. So the NFL had Sunday on lock for years. Then they said, let's go to Monday. Then they said, let's go to Thursday. Then they got even Friday night postseason games. Like, every league tries different things. They try new rules. They try new games.
They don't have an in-season tournament to say that if you win a game on this Sunday, we're going to give you a banner and a trophy. Come on, man.
The banner
Kelvin,
is like...
don't be so naive, and you just like hook, line, and sinker. Whatever they throw to you, you embrace. Tell me something you haven't embraced in the NBA, because all they do is, it's the National Gimmicks League. It's always a gimmick. Stop messing with the fabric of the game, of the tradition. Stop it. Why do we need to make people play hard and offer them an incentive during the regular season? We just started the season. What tournament? The season just started 4 weeks ago. My God.
Everybody, look.
So you heard what Rob had to say. What are my thoughts about the NBA Cup? Well, to be frank with you, I didn't even know it was starting yesterday, because it's not something that I paid attention to. Last year, it did seem like a gimmick. Now, some people try to make a big deal out of it. Those were LeBron fans. And that guy, Kevin Washington, I believe, he's a huge LeBron fan. So he wants to legitimize it because, well, it's like, well, if he won it, then, you know, if it's a real thing, LeBron won it. So it's because LeBron fans were posting about it. I remember When they won it and he won the Cup MVP, they were like, LeBron has finally won his fifth championship and fifth finals MVP. That's what they were saying, right? That's what they were saying. But a lot of us were like, this is a joke. Like, this cup is a joke. Like, for example, look at the teams that lost yesterday. Okay, one of the teams that lost in the cup was the Boston Celtics. Now, who are the Boston Celtics? Oh, all they are is just the world champion. So the Boston Celtics lost to the Atlanta Hawks without Trae Young. So we're about to say that they're now better than the ball. Of course you wouldn't say that. Of course you wouldn't say that, right? So to me, it's just something that they put in the middle of the NBA, in the early parts of the NBA to just draw more fan engagement, which really says a lot about where the league is going. Then now we need to put these kind of gimmicks in place to get fan engagement and get people tuning in and get people watching. What does that really say about the current state of affairs of the NBA? What does it say about it? What does it say? I have zero excitement for I don't care who wins. Whoever wins will probably talk about it, yeah, but I don't think it's any narrative defining thing like, oh, so-and-so player won, and nobody cares. Because we all know the real goal of an NBA season is to win a championship, and we all know that winning a championship is exponentially harder than winning the NBA. We all know this. Because if that was the case, the Lakers won the NBA Cup last year, so they should have gone to the final. They didn't even make it out of the first round. So what does all of that mean? The Nuggets lost, the Celtics lost. So what does it mean, really? It means nothing, right? Now, we've been pissing off some of these LeBron fans in the last few days, and I think this is just another perfect opportunity to continue to piss them off, because why not? You know, why not? Why not? Some of them hate the channel. They still watch it every day, so why not, right? Let's just have some fun with it. So yesterday was the beginning of the NBA Cup, and it had a whole bunch of teams playing, and one of those teams featured the Golden State Warriors and the Dallas Mavericks. Now, why was that a big story? Because it was going to be the rematch where the first time Klay Thompson goes back to Golden State to play against his former team with Stephen Curry and Draymond Green. So there was a lot of that going into that. And of course, as you know, Klay this is his first year with the Dallas Mavericks. But prior to Klay Thompson joining the Dallas Mavericks, when we heard that he was disgruntled at his former destination or the team he was playing with, we were listening. We were kind of searching for some potential suitors, and one of those suitors was supposed to be who? The Los Angeles Lakers, which always seems to be a possible trade destination. They're talking about Giannis is unhappy. The Lakers, he could go to the Lakers. So-and-so player, Jimmy Butler's not happy. He could go to the Lakers. So-and-so's not happy. He could go to the Lakers. So they were talking about that. So what happened? This morning, I was going through the internet, and I came across an article from Fadeaway World, and it said, Klay Thompson rejected the Lakers because he didn't believe they could win a title. I was like, ooh. So let's get into what the article says here. Continues on. After 11 years with the Golden State Warriors, four-time champion Klay Thompson made the biggest decision of his NBA career so far when he signed a contract to join the Dallas Mavericks on a 3-year, $50 million deal. Klay had a chance to join the Lakers this summer as well, but according to ESPN Tim McMahon, he didn't trust their ability to contend for a championship. Thomas chose the Mavericks over the Lakers, who also recruited him in free agency because he believed Dallas provided him the best chance to pursue a fifth championship ring. He believed he could be a missing player after the Mavs, fresh off their 5-game NBA Finals loss to the Boston Celtics, promised him a starting spot. He craved the opportunity to prove that. At 34 years old and with 2 major injuries in his medical records, he could still play a major role on a contender. Even at 34 years old, Klay Thompson began this summer as one of the league's most valuable free agents. Since his ascension to stardom in 2015, Klay has been known as one of the best shooters in basketball, and he's got the hardware to prove it as a 5-time All-Star, 4-time champion, 2-time All-NBA player. His career numbers stand at 19.5 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, and 2.3 assists per game on 35.4% shooting from the 3. And then finally, it says this past summer, most experts expected him to return to Golden State and finish his career alongside Stephen Curry, but had other plans after a miserable season with the Warriors. Despite Thompson's recent struggles and extensive injury history, he was a popular free agent target this summer, and he was approached by various teams with an offer. The Lakers were one one of them, and it says it's unknown what the Lakers' offer actually was, but it's unlikely that any offer would have been enough to lure him away from the Mavericks. For Thompson, the Lakers were still somewhat unstable following a highly disappointing season and a debacle with Darvin Ham over the summer. That's not to mention that LeBron, who's turning 40 next month, is overdue for a major physical decline. So you heard what the article had to say there. What are my thoughts on this? Who's surprised at Klay Thompson's decision? Look, even if Klay looked at the Lakers, let's say he looked at them and looked at them from a basketball standpoint and looked at their roster, looked at the talent that they have, Austin Rivers, LeBron James, Vanderbilt, Anthony Davis, and Rui Hachimura and whoever else they have. And he's like, well, they got some talent there. I can definitely, contribute to what they have. You also have to look at it from a standpoint in terms of stability, which the article alluded to. The Lakers are not stable. They're firing coaches left and right. They fired Frank Vogel, who won a championship with them. Then they turned around and fired Darvin Ham, who got them to the Western Conference Finals and won that bloody NBA Cup that these LeBron fans and these guys were twerking it up all over the place, slapping each other with honey for all last season. And he got them to the playoffs. And you're like, well, you fired him too. So where's the continuity here? And then you look at, maybe I don't know when he made the decision. Was it before they hired JJ Redick or after? Probably before. He's like, well, now they're thinking of hiring JJ Redick and all that. Well, he's not proven. So why would I want to go to a situation with so many unknowns versus going to a team that has already proven that they can make it to an NBA championship, a team that has younger stars in Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. They have a better crop of players that are more complementary to what those guys are doing. So why not go there? So to me, it made a lot of sense for Klay Thompson to go to that team in terms of their roster, the fact that they're already a proven product, and number two, they have stability at the coaching position. So to me, it was a no-brainer, right? So him choosing the Mavericks over the Lakers is no big surprise, and I think that this is something that the Lakers are ultimately going to have to contend with in terms of rehabilitating their reputation, because right now it does look like they really seem to be confused from time to time. Can you imagine Klay Thompson being on the Lakers, and then you have the Bronny James story and all that? I think it wouldn't have been in his best interest. But hey,